Hello and welcome to another Wizard Went to Watch video. In this video, I'm going to be going over my Bystial Dragon Link deck list that I played at the Toronto Regional of almost 400 people last weekend. I managed to go X3, which unfortunately was a high enough record to top. However, I didn't, so we bubbled, but that's okay. I still think compared to my recent performance at Regionals, it's a stark improvement. If you want to see sort of like Twitter threads on how I'm doing at a regional while I'm there, be sure to check me out on Twitter. Link in the description below. And as well, if you aren't already, please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Like the video if this type of content you want to see, and leave me a comment of what you want to see next. So let's get into the deck list. So our rocket package is getting smaller than ever. We just got double tracer, recharger, abstractor, triple quick launch, and then the 2 field spells. We dropped the rocket synchron because we wanted to make room for non-engine. As well, it doesn't come up that much, especially with things like Chaos Ruler not in the format anymore. There's not much use for a level 1 tuner. Like, the times you're going to use that to revive, like, Abs Router and make a level 8 synchro, not really happening. As well, if you are siding out things, you can side down to 1 Tracer, because I've seen some lists that are just playing, like, 1 of each. So, I still like 2, because it gives the option, like, to quick launch 1 out, banish it, whatever, and then search the other with Abs Router later. So that's the reason that we're playing 2. You get into the Chaos Dragon stuff. You got Triple Safer, you got Black Dragon, White Dragon, Legionnaire, all pretty standard. Chaos Emperor Dragon, Armageddon. Some people aren't playing this, some people are. I like it because it lets you recover a banished dragon, as well as it lets you summon another 3k beater for, not free, but it's pretty easy. You get a Light and Dark and Grave pretty often. Then we're playing the Triple Chaos space. This can search like these 3, as well as Lubellion. So we're in a pretty good spot where you can search both lights and darks that can extend your combo, as well as help you put a lot of damage on board. So then you have the double Lubellion. I decided to play this over a 3rd Lubellion. I might swap it back to play 3 Lubellion instead, just so you can make sure that you get your Bystial engine going, because it is insane recursion if it's not interrupted. Regained and Branded Beast, just 1 of each. It's really a coin toss which one you set up. This one helps you play through Nib better, because if you have seals and regained up, you can, if you get Nibiru, you can summon a Dragon deck, summon a Bystial from grave, go into another seals. This one helps have interruption on your opponent's turn, especially if you can combo with Druid Worm to send another, special summon monster. And then for my Bystial lineup, we have Triple Magnemite. Obviously, it's the best one. It can add from grave, which not everyone knows. So even if you're under Droll and Lockbird, you can still resolve this effect to get something back to hand, which is really useful. You have Baldrake, which was surprisingly useful against things like Traptrix, because you can banish your Traptrix Sarah pretty easily with this card. You have Druid Worm, which, it's Druid Worm. Helps you out really big things, which is awesome. And then Sarnier helps you set up having both Beast and Regained in 1 turn. Or it helps you send the Lubellion if you don't already have access to it yet. If you're siding down to put in additional non-engine, I would say side out the Sarnier and the Baldrake. And then if it's also a matchup that you're bad against, or Bystials aren't as good, you can side like 1 Magnemite out. But I'd say at minimum, you want to keep double Magnemite and a Jerusalem, and maybe 1 Lubellion and the Regained if you're going second. Getting into the other Dragon starter, we have double Black Metal Dragon and Darkness Metal Dragon. Darkness Metal Dragon now has additional synergy with Branded Regained, where what you banish to summon it can, be put at your bottom deck and draw 1. So that Striker Dragon that you have to unfortunately banish when you link 1 into this to get your combo going, you are able to recover pretty easily, which is awesome. So that's it for the engine. Then we get into non-engine, going second cards. We have Triple Nibiru. People don't really expect to main deck Nibiru, and that really was our advantage as well. It's light, so you can discard it with Chaos Space to add either that or one of these, which is pretty cool. You have Imperm as effect negation, doesn't trigger talents or thrust, so that makes it always useful. And even if you draw and go first, you can just set it and have an additional negate on the board, plus an interesting interaction with the column that it's in. Gamma goes crazy. Gamma is nuts. Negating and destroying. And especially if you get to do it on your own turn, because they're chaining like Ash to your Chaos Space or Droll to the Resolution. Wild. And I'll go into that once we get to the extra deck. Then we're playing double Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse was for 2 things. It was for stopping Kashtira, because you can just flip all their stuff face down. as well as against trap chicks, because you can flip the Rafflesia face down, and they're unable to use its effect. So that can stop you from getting an additional, like, trap hole used on you, as well as a trigger for, like, Sarah's effect, for example. Getting into the extra deck, we have Barload Savage. It's a 8 Synchro Negate. You're going to play it in this deck, because your setup is right there. You have Synchro Stardust Dragon. This was for one use and one use only. That's if you resolve Gamma on your own turn. You summon these two, summon that, bring the Gamma back, go into Baron. I did that exactly once over the weekend, and that was because I played, it was game 3. I was going second. I played evenly matched. He chained Lancia, and I chained Gamma. So unfortunately, the evenly matched did nothing because I had 3 cards on field resolution, but I was able to beat over a Rusty Bardiche with the driver because some attack mode, and then main phase 2 make the Baron. So Scarlet is for time, mostly, but I did use it to finish out a game once in game 3 where I just was able to blow up my field and deal 1,500 damage. Then Baron, because Tracer's a 4 and the Bystials are 6s. So we have Striker, Pisty, very self-explanatory. You have Romulus, Search Dragon Ravine, Double Seal, because it's really good. You summon Magnemite from deck half the time, and then you're able to just search and end phase and keep your engine going. Plus the bounce is really good for playing it around evenly matched. You have a board where it's like Seals, one of your field spells, and then like you have like Branded Beast set up. There you go, evenly match, you chain Seals, bounce a field spell, evenly resolves, you keep the Branded Beast, and then new chain, you go Seals, summon out Magnemite. So definitely a very useful combo to know about if you all play around evenly. IP for going into Unicorn, Dark for link climbing, Triple Burst for Pisty arrows, Unicorn for spot removal, Access Code for closing out games, Borland being big negate that's hard to out. Side deck, we go Triple Droll. There's a lot of decks currently that get hit by Droll that are really annoying to play against. My favorite deck I drolled was Danger Dark World. It was game 3. I was up a game. We both tied, and then he was going first. Played Upstart Goblin. I chained Droll, and he just ended his turn. So, especially going into Super Heavy Samurai, and purely this card is going to be nuts. It belongs in the main deck. But for the weekend, I played this instead of Ash because I didn't really fear Branded because I can just Bystial away like their Albion before end phase. So, wasn't really as big a deal as some decks would be, or some other decks would find it. Evenly matched for dealing with back row decks, as well as big decks that didn't set up negates, things like Kashtira as well. Combos well with Gamma, because you go evenly matched, they banish everything but the Arise Heart. Arise Heart's mandatory effect to attach activates, and you chain Gamma. And then we had Triple Santa Claus, same thing, dealing with like Protect the Castle decks, like big boss monsters like Kashtira, Arise Heart. It's going to go really well against Expertly Noir next format, so definitely a mainstay. We have double talents. This is just for going first. And then we go into the one-ups. We have Change of Heart, which is for dealing with things like a Rise Heart Pass. We had Pankratops, which is good for dealing with Rise Heart Pass. Same sort of combo as with Gamma, because you go Pankratops, pop something else on the field to go Rise Heart, and then you chain Gamma. A Pointer for going first, for just knocking a really good card out of their hand. And then Feather Duster for hitting Labyrinth and Trap Chicks. Trap Chicks, it's a little more difficult because Arachnocampa is able to protect their set cards, but overall, still a pretty good card to side. So as well, I'll show off what I'm sort of thinking for the next format. Keep in mind, we're still waiting on a ban list. We're like this card, I have not trimmed this deck down at all, so don't be alarmed by the 50 cards. But I'm going to talk about the potential changes that you might want to do moving into next format. Main deck Droll required. Nib main deck, I'm iffy, but the small world bridges with it are really good. And I'll have to make a separate video to explain all the natural small world bridges that occur in Dragon Link, and trust me, it's pretty good. I played Small World at a Montreal Regional 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, we went round 6 drop with 2 wins, 2 ties, 2 losses at that point, but I still was very happy with Small World and wouldn't attribute it to any of my losses there. So we main deck this because we can get off Small World, and you need something to deal with Expertly Noir. You don't want to like lose die roll, they go into Noir, and then you just scoop. Ogre is really good for dealing with Super Heavy Samurai. You hit the link, and then purely you can hit a multitude of things. So the other changes, because of the prevalence of more like Towers decks, We had 2 Thunder Kings as well. Doesn't really matter which light kaiju you play. It's just light's an easier attribute than dark to work with in this deck. We're playing 1 Thrust, and this is more so just to be able to search like any of the broken stuff. So these going second, or these going second. I would not recommend siding in Thrust if you're going first with this deck. But again, still work in progress. And then this bump down to side deck because it's for time. Because we have a brand new Synchro that comes with the Cyberstorm Axis we get to play. And that's Bystial Dispater. So if you haven't seen the replays of this card is really good. It's a negate as well as an extender. And the thing is massive. It's got 35 in both stats. It's a really good card. We decided not to play Chaos Angel because without Ringo Worm and seeing just, maybe I'm just biased because I've seen like bad replays from DB Grinder. Well, I'm not sure if they're bad or not. But it seems pretty like it's underperforming. But who knows? Maybe someone will figure it out by the time the set comes out, and I'm gonna wish I picked them up. I'm still gonna pick them up, but who knows? So Chaos Angel, iffy. Then everything else kind of just stays the same. Dark doesn't really get as good, so that might be like the next thing on the chopping block if we start playing Chaos Angel. But I think I'm pretty happy with the rest of it. So don't expect it to be 50 by the time I play it. This is sort of like the starting block, and we'll just slowly start chipping away in order to make a functional deck. So that's all I have for the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.